All right, let's get practicing in QuickBooks Online. Grab the link below in the description so that you can follow along. All right, here we are in the QBO Gym, and the QBO Gym is a place where we have numerous exercises that simulate real-life scenarios that you may encounter as a bookkeeper. Every single month, we come out with new exercises for you to practice your skills and complete, and we break it down for you into 4 different sections. So today we are going to be working in the September warm-ups section. At the top here is a video that tells you a little bit what's going on that month for you, the bookkeeper, in Craig's business. He is our fictitious business owner, of course. And then further down, we have an exercise that relates to the video that you just watched above. And then at the bottom here are all of the exercises within this section. So today we are going to practice recording expenses. You will need to be in the same session of the sample company that you used for the previous exercises. If you have not completed those yet, go ahead and click on the link on the top right corner of your screen. That will take you to the first exercise. Complete that one and all the ones following until you get back to this one. So our scenario today is that Craig has left you several receipts that you need to record. So in order to do this exercise, we need to download the receipts, which can be found under the animated video in this section. So let's go ahead and grab those. If you scroll back up to the top here, here is the animated video. We're going to click on the button that says receipts, and that has downloaded for us. You can open it up, and this is what it will look like. So let's start with Diego's Road Warrior Body Shop. Craig went there to purchase a new truck bed liner, and while he was there, Diego told him that he had an unpaid bill from an earlier vehicle repair. Craig took care of both the purchase and the unpaid repair bill in one check, which is check number 1203. So let's record that transaction. So our first step here in the left-hand nav bar, we need to hover over expenses and then select vendors. So here I am in the sample company. This is the last page that I left off of from the previous exercise. That's why it appears this way. We are going to go ahead and hover over expenses and then click on vendors. And now all of our vendors will appear here. We want to then click on Diego's Road Warrior Shop, or we want to find it. I'm sorry, not click on it, but let's find it first. Here it is. And then next to, on that particular line, next to or schedule payments, there is an arrow that we want to click and then create the bill. Before we do that, you may be wondering why we just can't create an expense. So in QBO, if you create an expense, you will be able to add the existing repair bill to the expense form, but you will not be allowed to add a new line for the purchase of the truck bed liner. So in order to pay the existing bill and the new purchase at the same time, which is what happened in real life, we need to create a second bill for the purchase first. So let's go ahead and click on the little arrow here. Here's Diego's Road Warrior Body Shop. Click on the arrow and then select Create Bill. And you will see this appear. So you will notice that on the line item, it already has something for $755, and this is that previous bill. We are simply going to edit over it with using the following steps to record the truck bed liner purchase. So the first thing we need to do in the category field is select purchases. So here is that pre-filled in. This is from the previous one. If you want to just click on this little trash box, it'll just get rid of everything for you and it's a clean slate. So in the category field, we said it was going to be purchases. So if you click into it 2 times, you can start typing in purchases, and there it is. The description for this is that truck bed liner. Click in the description and then type in truck bed liner. The amount that he paid was $500, so we're going to put that in the amount. Type in $500. You tab over, you see that the QBO has captured that now for $500, and we are just going to simply save and close this bill. So click on the green Save and Close button. And that bill has now been saved. And now we're going to go back to his customer or the vendor, Diego's Road Warrior Body Shop. It's a mouthful. Sorry. We're going to then click next to the create bill. We're going to click on the down arrow and then create the expense, because now we need to add both of those in together. So here is his line right here. Under next to create bill, click on the arrow and then select create expense. And you will see this appear for you. Now you will see in the pop-up drawer on the right-hand side that both of the bills, the one that we just created and the one from the previous, that's $755, that was paid on one check. We need to add both of those now because they were paid at the same time. So we're just going to click on that add all button right here. And both of those have been added to this bill payment, which is great. That's what we wanted to do. It's a nice little feature so that we don't have to recreate things. We just want to do one more thing. In the reference number, we need to type in 1203 because that is how he paid for both of these expenses. So 1203 in the reference number. Just want to double check that the payment account is checking, which is exactly what we want. And then we're going to click on Save and New because we have more expenses to record. So here, click on the arrow and then select Save and New. And that payment, that expense has been recorded for us. So let's move on to Lara's lamination. Craig spent $150 at Lara's Lamination to laminate some posters that he's going to hang up in the library and coffee shop bulletin boards, and he paid with his MasterCard, which you can see if you go into it. Here's that MasterCard that shows how he paid for it. So we're going to click on the plus add new because we don't have her as a vendor right now. So if you click into the payee field, click on the plus add new, and you will see this appear. In the vendor display name, we're going to type in her, her company's name, Lara's Lamination. So click into it and start typing in Lara's Lamination. There we go. And you want to make sure, just double check this contact type is vendor, which is exactly what we want. Sometimes if you click on it, sometimes it'll show up as customer or employee, depending on when you are recording this, whatever workflow you're doing. But we want vendor, so that's the right one. And then click on the green Save button. And now her vendor has been, or her vendor card or form has been saved. Sorry about that. In the payment account, we're going to select MasterCard because that is how he paid. So in this, click on this arrow here and then select MasterCard. In the category field, we're going to select advertising. Down here. And just one quick note, this payment date, we're going to leave it as is. Let's assume that he just paid for it today. But if you have ever on here on any expenses in real life, the date you want to make sure that you add that date here in the payment date. So again, in the category field, we're going to select advertising. So click into it 2 times and you'll see advertising is actually right here on the top. So click on that. The description for this is poster lamination. So let's type that into the description field, poster lamination. And the amount that was spent was $150. So let's go ahead and type that in the amount field, 150, tab over, and you will see that the amount is captured by QBO. Just a note here that the advertising expense is not directly related to a job, so it's not billable, and therefore the billable and customer fields are just going to remain blank. So we're going to click on the we're going to click on the green Save and New button because we have one more expense to record. And here's that billable and customer that I was just talking about. You're just going to leave those blank because it doesn't get billed to another customer. So click on the green Save and New button because we have one more expense to record. And that one is for Norton Lumber and Building Materials. So Craig has a big patio installation for Kate Whalen. He goes to Norton Lumber and Building Materials to buy pavers for the job and spends $2,300 on his Visa card for the materials, which he will be invoicing to Kate when the job is complete. So let's see how we would record this expense. In the payee field, we're going to select Norton Lumber and Building Materials. So click into the payee field. I'm going to start typing in Norton. You can always scroll and find them. There they are. So I'm going to select them. You will see this little pop-up drawer show up for a bill for $205. And that's just doing that because there is a previous bill, recorded bill. We are not going to use it for this exercise, so you can just go ahead and ignore it. In the payment account field, we're going to select Visa because that is how he paid for it. So click the arrow and select Visa. We're going to leave the payment date as is. Again, on the expense itself, if there is a date here you want to in real life, actually record it. But since we don't have a date, we're just going to leave it as is. In the category field, we're going to select job expenses, job materials, decks, and patios. So if I click into it 2 times and I start typing in deck, you will see 2 different ones appear. One is an expense account and one is an income account. In real life, I would highly recommend if you have 2 similar named accounts to change them so it's easy to decipher which one is for an expense and which one is for income. So I'm going to actually delete this and I'm going to scroll down in the expense to find the parent account, which is this job expenses. Further down, it is under job materials is the next sub account. And then under that is deck and patio. So this decks and patios is the one that I want. So I'm going to click on that. The description field is going to be pavers since that is what he bought. So in the description field, type in pavers. The amount that he spent was $2,300, which you can see right here. So in the amount, type in 2,300, tab over, and you see that it is captured by QBO. And then we are going to mark this as billable, and then in the customer field, select Kate. And that is because he is passing on this cost to Kate. He is going to be invoicing her later for it. So under the billable area, the checkbox, go ahead and click on that. And then the customer we said is going to be Kate. So I'm going to start typing in Kate, and there she is. And then we are simply going to save and close. So down here, click on the little arrow and then select Save and Close. And there you go. You have recorded all of your expenses for today. And if you have any questions or want to know more about the QBO Gym, just go ahead and click on the link below in the description. Be sure to leave this session of the sample company open as you will need it for the last exercise in this section, which is all about processing bank fee transactions. And I will see you in the next video.